Just last night, there was a military helicopter that flew straight into a passenger plane right over D.C.
We are coming on the air with breaking news out of Washington. The FAA confirming an American Airlines regional jet has collided with a Black Hawk helicopter near Reagan National Airport. This happened just over an hour ago.
What's wild is it seems like the helicopter flew directly into the plane. Like you can see it right now flying straight into the plane, like complete disregard for the fact that the plane was right there. Media reports suggest this could cost the most life of any air disaster in the past 15 years in the U.S. Kansas Senator Roger Marshall fears that 60 residents from his state may be among the victims. Around 300 rescuers were on the crash site last night, within hours after the crash. Apparently, it was an air traffic control error that may have caused the crash. Just before impact, the controller asked the helicopter crew if they had visual contact with the airliner. The pilot confirmed and requested a visual separation maneuver, but the helicopter remained at the same altitude just as the descending bombardier jet. So it sounds like the helicopter should have been the one to move. I guess standard operating procedure is to get confirmation as to what your evasive maneuver should be, but that doesn't sound like that makes any sense. See, this kind of captures my reaction right here. How does one of the most advanced military helicopters in the world crash directly into a plane with clear conditions? I could understand if it was foggy, heavily snowing, or a rainstorm, but it's a clear night. The Black Hawk flies directly into the plane. I mean, that's what we saw in the video.
Emergency officials say they're coordinating a search and rescue operation in the Potomac River. We don't have yet information about casualties, but the FAA says this American Airlines plane, which had left Kansas, collided in midair with that helicopter while on approach to a runway here at Reagan, DCA as it's known locally. I want to bring in our aviation correspondent, Tom Costello, who is joining us now. Tom, a very active situation. The FAA, the NTSB, local fire and emergency responders there as we speak.
NBC News got a page with some live updates. It looks like all passengers are feared dead after the incident last night. 60 passengers and then 4 crew members. Man, dude, 2 aircraft crashed into the Potomac River. So they both crashed into the Potomac River, where the rescue operation became a major recovery effort with dozens of bodies being pulled. Oh, geez. The regional plane was arriving from Wichita, Kansas. Its parent company, American Airlines, said the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter was carrying 3 people, Mayor Muriel Bowser said. American figure skaters, coaches, and family members who had been at camp in Wichita were among those on board. And the Russian state media apparently confirmed that Russian figure skaters and coaches were also on board. Man, this is crazy, dude. This is wild.
I don't know if you all could hear the question. It's a question about the flight path of the helicopter. I don't want to go into too much detail about the information we have from the FAA, but obviously it is not standard to have aircraft collide. I want to be clear on that. But prior to the collision, the flight paths that were being flown from the military and from American, that was not unusual for what happens in the DC airspace. And as this investigation moves forward, we will be able to provide more information to you about the details of that statement. But again, those who live in the DC area, we see military helicopters fly up and down the river. It's a standard path that they fly. They're used to aircraft landing at DCA, and there's a procedure in place because this happens every day. Something went wrong here. I look forward to the time and point when we can give you that information, but I don't want to comment on that right now.
Trump came out with a statement shortly after. The airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good. This was live just a moment ago.
Mr. President, on DEI and the claims that you've made, are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power. You have to go by psychological quality. And psychological quality is a very important element of it. These are various very powerful tests that we put to use, and they were terminated by Biden. And Biden went by a standard that's the exact opposite. So we don't know, but we do know that you had two planes at the same level. You had a helicopter and a plane. That shouldn't have happened. And we'll see. We're going to look into that, and we're going to see. But certainly for an air traffic controller, we want the brightest, the smartest, the sharpest. We want somebody that's psychologically superior. And that's what we're going to have. Yeah.
Look, regardless of the social issue rhetoric that just divides people, what he's saying is this shouldn't have been happened. Something is wrong, and someone in our institutional government is going to take responsibility for this, and we are going to look into this, and we are going to give you guys an answer of how this is going to be corrected into the future, which is amazing to have your leadership actually feel a level of responsibility to the constituency and like, hey, I'm answering to you. This is a problem. It's going to get fixed. It shouldn't have happened. We've grown so accustomed to the very distinct lack of accountability that we've experienced from the past few administrations now that it's just really refreshing to get a totally different sentiment and vibe from this new administration. It looks like we got a picture here of the wreckage. I don't see how anyone could have survived that. That's insane. You would hope that maybe because it was already on the descent, maybe it's closer. You know, the helicopter being so small, maybe neither one of them were moving too quickly, that maybe there would have been a possibility for some survival, but it looks like no one. It looks like no one survived this, man. Here they are pulling the wreckage out of the water. My gosh, dude, that's... I wonder if partly the casualties were because of landing in the water. Maybe some people drowned or... All right, guys, fresh updates over here from the NBC page, all right? Let's see. Trump has come out with another response, all right? During his remarks, President Donald Trump questioned the movement of the Black Hawk helicopter before it crashed into the American Eagle jet. You had a pilot problem. From the standpoint of the helicopter, I mean, because it was visual. It was a very clear night. It was cold but clear as you could be, Trump said. He said, all of this is going to be studied, but it just seems to me from a couple of words that I like to use, the words common sense, some really bad things happened and some things happened that shouldn't have happened. When taking questions later on, Trump seemed to backtrack a little bit and say, I'm not blaming the controller. I'm saying there are things that you could question, like the height of the helicopter, the height of the plane being the same level, going in opposite directions. The president said before ending the news conference, clearly, yeah, I mean, he's saying the government did something wrong. Dude, what people can't stand is stuff that the over-sanitized response that we were getting from the Biden administration, which is, hey, we don't have any information, only trust official sources, we got nothing for you, it'll be a while before we have any answers, and then they just hope everybody forgets, man. No, take some accountability, some responsibility. This makes people feel more comfortable. This makes people trust the leadership. Hey, thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate you. If you liked the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, maybe subscribing, joining me for the next one, that'd be awesome, man. And by the way, RFK just earlier yesterday destroyed Elizabeth Warren during that Senate confirmation hearing, dude. We cover it. It's amazing. Check it out. And then on top of that, New York Magazine was caught lying about Trump supporters, trying to claim that they're all white people. Check it out, guys.